Hello, everybody, and welcome to our After Church Tea Time. The topic of the sermon this Sunday was on how unionism, how the mission of unionism heals the world. So I'd like the team to just introduce themselves, and then we'll take it from there, sharing our insights and our experiences. And please feel free to share yours as well in the comments section. And if there are any questions, we'll also respond to you. So I'm Granville Campbell, and I'm joining you from South Africa.
Hello, I'm Andy.
I'm Nikki.
And we're joining in from Albania.
Hi, I'm Lacey, and I'm joining from South Carolina, United States.
Welcome, everybody. And again, thank you for joining us. And to the team, I think one of the things that stood out for me in the sermon was just the simplicity of how Laurentia and Alexandra just shared the feeling of the mission of unionism. And it stood out for me in that we tend to overcomplicate things. We tend to want to find alternative meanings to things. And it's nice how this is very clear. It's very simple. And it's a kind of very logical to follow. And in that, it simplifies things. It kind of just allows us, and it allows me to settle into really knowing and learning and unpacking what's actually being given to me. And I think that was the one thing that really stood out to me, and that kind of makes me appreciate unionism more and appreciate Jeff and Shalea's teaching more. And appreciate Jeff and Shaleia more, is just how they go to the core of things. And in going to the core of things, they invite us to go to the core of things, which feels like a very settling space to be in. So I'd like to see how you guys experience that and how you feel about just the invitation to actually go into the core and find the core of the truth in those spaces.
Do you mean in terms of exploring and getting clear?
Yes, and just in terms of the mission of unionism, that it takes us so much deeper into our core. And in going into our core, we start to actually feel the truth, not just know it.
Yeah. Yeah. With Jeff and Shalea's work, I have, like you said, like it's like a gnosis feeling, like an experience of it. And it's not just, nice words. It's an actual spiritual experience. So, for example, using the mirror exercise, going deeper into a truth or something that you're experiencing in the external reality that you live in, and then bringing it into your heart and seeing, what's actually happening, the core, the truth that the inner creates the outer, and they're not separate. But experiencing this is just, it's something I'm having a little bit of trouble putting to words, because it's like I don't need faith when I have the experience. Yes, faith is required to continue pursuing the truth, but you'll get these knowings of a certainty, like something is true when you've experienced it. So not only with the mirror exercise that they teach, but experiencing their teachings of union in the Church of Union, in working with others, and seeing how things unfold, seeing how love works in all of us to resolve conflict or to create something together collectively. I just wanted to share a little bit, and I feel like someone that might have the next piece.
Yeah, for me, following these teachings requires faith, but with the feeling of faith for me like gets completed when there is logic behind it, and the experience itself makes it makes faith feel really good, because you are not like blindly having faith, but you are actually going deeper into your spiritual healing. For example, if you are going through a certain experience and through a certain healing one aspect of your consciousness, you are always going deeper in that thing. And as Lizzie said before, like with a mirror exercise, new stuff gets revealed, and like you get to find out more things as you go deeper into it, into the healing.
So it's like the evolution. As the teaching evolves, we also evolve with the teaching. And something that stuck with me was the opportunity and honor that as unionists we can follow this teaching with our guru and move forward in creating heaven on earth with them. This is like, I don't know, I'm very touched by this. Also, the part that is all logical and the new description in the church website is very grounding and very complete. And I feel like going back to it again and just like grounding it even more, like meaning like absorbing it even more to ground it even more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that, and I think that that was perfect in the sense that, you know, it's one thing to receive words. It's completely another thing to sit with them and contemplate them and meditate with them and integrate them, and that in and of itself is a process, which is something that I think it's a process and it's a journey. It's something that we've kind of all agreed to and signed up for. We've signed up for this journey of life. And so I feel like unionism kind of gives us this new way of relating to life that helps us to literally dissolve the things that are out of alignment. Like, it becomes very easy to look at something and go, that doesn't feel like the truth. What is this showing me? Where is this leading me? What's the healing in this piece? Because there's always a piece of healing. We just have to be open to it. And you know, it's something that Shaleia shared in one of her posts on Facebook as well, that the minute your mindset changes, your perception changes, almost your DNA changes because of that, which feels really healthy and comfortable. And it kind of does, it feels very non-threatening as well. And that makes it easy. And I think what you were speaking to, Lisi, was that feeling of, I don't necessarily need faith because this is so easy. And yet the faith is in the ease. The faith is in knowing that there's going to be a result, and that result is measurable. All you have to do is focus on the healing.
Yeah, thank you, Granville. I was watching a Twin Flame Ascension School class. It's Wednesday, 7 p.m. class 100. And Jeff and Shaleia share, you know, after at a certain point, and in the certain point, when you go through the classes, class by class in order, your consciousness is built up to the point of not doubting the work anymore. Yes, twin flames are real. Yes, you create your reality. Yes, the inner creates the outer, and it's one. And your twin flame is only ever showing you something. I liked what you said when, you know, the question to ask as like a truth seeker is, what is this showing me? What what is the divine trying to show me or communicate to me, and to keep persisting there until there is clarity, and to not I think that kind of brought something up for me, is like not get frustrated or give up when the clarity just takes a process to find. Like, I think there's like, I know, I'll just be candid. Like, I know that I felt like, come on, universe, like, give me the truth now. Like, I just wanted to have the clarity now, and like very demanding. And that is not loving. That is not divine. It's not who I am at the core. And so that's the energy that I've noticed within myself, where I've discovered that truth. Oh, I'm demanding. And to not be attached to judgment or anything there, just to simply, like, once you discover a truth, like, take actions that are based in love from that discovery, let it go, choose to have boundaries there in your mind. So it's just an ever unfolding thing. There's it can provide a great joy to be able to discover and seek truth and have new understandings. It's like you never graduate. It's really cool.
Yeah, I like that. I like the energy of being invited to discover all the time. And I think it's something that we kind of have as a natural curiosity, that we want to know things. We all want to know things, and so it's comfortable to know, well, hey, I'm demanding in this space, and it's comfortable to know, hey, I'm curious in this space, and it's comfortable to know, hey, this is me in this space. But it's all about our journey into coming into greater harmony with ourselves. And so coming into greater harmony with life around us, which is something that Alexandra and Lorenzo shared quite deeply in their sermon. It's just that energy of really coming into harmony. And that's that energy that kind of allows us to bring all those components of ourselves home into the fullness of us, which is really the teaching of unionism at its core. Every time you apply a mirror exercise, you are inviting that out of harmony component into harmony, which feels really cool.
I want to share another thing that Lorenzo and Alexandra touched on, which is the quote from the website, to not only discover for yourself what is and is not truth, but so we can strengthen our collective understanding of it together. And they spoke about divine dish and divine gaming. And I participate and subscribe to Divine Dish, and I've been practicing, I guess you could call it practicing Divine Dish, because it is a spiritual practice. The whole process of relating to food is spiritual. I've been a member for over a year and have experienced the collective understanding of the healing process through the food and through the shift and the change. Like, okay, we've all come together, and we were receiving the standard American diet, and we needed to heal there. Like, there was a lot of healing, like from childhood when we had deprivation or you know, food restriction or hunger. We healed hunger. And when that was complete, then the next layer came, which is, okay, now you've healed the hunger. Now we're going to heal nutrition. And so now it's more, the menu shifted, and it's beautiful, and it was natural. It wouldn't have been compassionate to do that last year for any of us. And that's why, for me, why when I tried to do it by myself, a long time ago, I tried to diet by myself, it never worked, because the collective understanding, you get more that way in the community. You receive more healing because it's more God, through, all of the children of God that are here and doing it together. I also play Nightmare Craft. I love Nightmare Craft Chapter 1. It was a healing journey for me to start because I'm not like a professional gamer. I have a little dibble dabble in gaming, but I was approaching it like, kind of like a wet behind the ears, fresh. And I noticed that I got to collaborate through my experience and sharing my truth, how I experienced the game, and I got to collaborate with by sharing. That was how I collaborated with the game developers. Hey, I couldn't do this, and what about this? And I was asking questions, and so connecting to the community, asking questions actually helped them to like refine the game even more. And so I was supported, they were supported, everybody was supported by this mutual collective exploration together. And I just love Nightmare Craft, and I play about every day. And I could go on and do like a whole like talk on Nightmare Craft and how amazing, how healing it is, and how fun it is. And anyway, but I'll stop there.
Something that Laurentio said that stuck with me was healing, using the mirror exercise to collectively healing and having like an intention and real focus to have change, to have real change, instead of like focusing on specifics or in details, but actually like really collectively like healing and having a certain intention to bring the teaching to humanity, and also like writing a new history in the world. Yeah,
to have like the intention of building heaven on earth, which is the intention.
Yeah, something that stands out to me in you saying that is, that energy of being intentional. I think it's very powerful to sit in the space where we have been guided into learning that our choice is powerful, and that intentionally we exercise that power in choosing to heal. And the thing that always just like every single time, it's the feeling that just my choice to heal as it is an invitation. And it's an invitation that resonates in the collective, that probably touches people without them necessarily even realizing it sometimes. Like sometimes it's very clear and very, very verbal. And sometimes it's the core of the desire to heal that touches on their desire to heal, that invites them into that desire to heal. And I love how the teaching of unionism has just shown us how truly connected we actually are to each other. It feels very powerful just to know that, like truly know it. Like there's no doubt for me. And so, and again, it's not because I'm a doubting person, but it's because I try and unpack everything. I will look at everything from every possible angle. And sometimes I would have thought to myself, well, that's overthinking. And now I just like, well, actually, it's just the energy of serious curiosity. And it's okay. And one of my previous coaches would sometimes say to me, you have the divine, what did she say? The divine characteristic of stubbornness. And some of that, sometimes you'd have to look at it and you go, well, actually, that's also true. Like that is a part of me that I can't deny. Like I didn't create it myself, but I may have created it in conjunction with God. So it's okay for it to be there. It's okay for me to accept it. It's okay for me to be comfortable with it. And I think that that's been the bigger part of my ascension journey, is getting fully comfortable with the core of who I am and the truth of who I am.
And you said there, like, with the truth of who I am, that made me think like how we have lost a lot of people in the community, but when you look at it in a bigger picture, like the community never stop expanding and is always expanding, and you can recognize that the truth is touching a lot of people, and if like it wasn't the truth, this expansion like would be like really stagnant and wouldn't be like big.
It wouldn't be powerful, but it's because it's God's truth that it's spreading, and
Yeah,
it's like expanding, as we were saying, as the teaching expands and evolves. That's like the bigger and the deeper the peace on earth is, if it makes sense, or like the more the teaching is spread as well.
yeah. And I feel like people are finding themselves with the teaching, like everybody, like every person that has coming in, like a new person, a new member of the community, and starting like to follow the teaching and starting to apply the teaching, slowly starting to see like results, even if in the beginning the results are not very huge or big, but there are results. And as a new member, for example, is going deeper with the teachings and with applying the mirror exercise, you are seeing that people are committing deeper to this teaching, and also we are, as a community, we are also attracting new people at the same time, and that just shows how you are, how this teaching really makes you go deeper and dive into your real self and find your divinity, and actually like really have that curiosity that you were talking about to find out more stuff. And this is not necessarily about like more stuff outside, but more stuff about yourself, like and
Like it's getting to know God better.
yeah, and it drives the interest, that curiosity, that feeling inside of yourself to actually like really bring out that divine juice that you have to serve in this world. And yeah, for me it has been mostly about like setting myself free from the boundaries and from the blocks that I have put to myself. And yeah, this this teaching feels like for me it feels like is the most crucial part of my life so far. And I have, like, as you said, Grandma, signed up to actually go in this journey, and I feel really, I have no doubts, as you were saying, that like I feel really grounded in this, and I know that this is the way.
Something I wanted to mention was how Unionism like heals all areas of your life, like everything, and its purpose and mission is to bring harmony in every part of the earth, and just creating harmony with each other and ourselves as well. So it's like connection and relationship wise, as well as self and God. So it's all like one. And also with our twin flames, bringing like this foundation and this level of love and purity, and also like having this opportunity to have like our mirror
In front of us.
in front of us to help us in this journey. and seeing that the purpose of having a twin flame and harmonious union is also like to ground heaven on earth, which is very divine and beautiful.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, to kind of go along with what you were sharing, Indy and Nikki, the last paragraph in under Unionism aims to completely deconstruct our fundamental thought system, which dictates our way of being, bring it into the light of total awareness, and reorganize it to best suit both our individual and collective needs as one humanity of total inclusion. There's a lot there, and like I wanted to touch on the deconstructing of our fundamental thought system, which dictates our way of being, like the way that we were raised, our culture, society, the world, worldliness, materialism. And I wanted to share that within me, when certain patterns were deconstructed, like things that I had been doing my whole life, patterns of behavior, some patterns were not so nice. Unionism and the work of Jeff and Shaleia have truly come up with a way to do this that is loving. Like I couldn't dismantle certain patterns without the healing and the love and the support of the community. Like I couldn't look at myself like, oh, I don't know, that's not me. Like this aversion, the root of it was that I was too scared to look. I was not so nice within myself to myself. And by practicing these teachings of love, because that's what they are, I was able to detach from my own judgment within and start to dismantle my patterns like that I never thought I would. There was a lot of defense and a lot of protections up. And now we know those weren't necessary, but when you're in it, when you're in the world, you can't see. And so that's what the community and all of Jeff and Shalea's work helps with. And so Granville sharing that you were stubborn, like I like to think of that, to reword things. And you can hear Jeff doing this in class in terms of Ascension School with students. I suppose it's like part of neurolinguistic programming, but like stubbornness, another way to look at that in a divine way is persistent. Like I'm persistent to heal this block, and until I can understand it, I'm going to keep going and keep working through until and open my heart to receive the truth, to receive whatever truth in the way that I can understand, and keep partnering with God and the community to show me the truth in a way that I can understand. But that stubbornness like kind of translates in a divine way if you look at it that way.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I think, the good thing and the nice thing for me is that, as you say, you start to unravel these patterns. And I use the word unravel because they're really not that confusing. We may just, as you said, have a certain fear of looking at them and may not necessarily have had the knowledge of how to heal them and how to address them and what to undo in order to find the core, to find the truth, to find the root of it. And as you said, that energy of, it's really just the teaching of love. It's the teaching of love. It's the teaching that we are not outside of love and love is not outside of us. And it's come to, like, it's something that's come into my awareness over the last few weeks, is like this desire to be accepted. For instance, for me was the desire to see evidence of my acceptance amongst other people. And at the core of it, my very presence, my very existence is all the evidence of my acceptance that I need. Everything else is kind of just an additional benefit. And that shift for me has created a different understanding of what peace actually is. It's created a feeling of just being stable. Like it's a feeling of just being grounded, regardless of what's happening. Just being present, regardless of what somebody's showing me. And then, you know, like I have to take the step back and I have to go, well, how did I discover that? What led me into that discovery? And what led me into this discovery was, as you said, that persistence of really going deeper every time this pattern surfaced. But we're not necessarily always taught as we grow up to go deeper, to go to the core of things, to unpack the root of things. And that's why I love when, you know, like you watch TFAS classes and it comes up that layers of an onion. And it just, you know, like it makes perfect sense because, yes, there is something at the core of that onion. But you kind of do need to cut through the layers to get to that core. The simplicity of it is quite a design in and of itself. And therefore, I can let myself off the hook if something returns to be looked at. I can give myself the leeway to look at it again without the upset of, why is this coming up again? Because I feel like in my life there's been that pattern existed at some point. Like, really? Didn't we deal with this? Do we need to deal with this again? What's it doing there? And now it's like, okay, what else are you trying to show me? Because there's always a next piece, right? It's like, okay, so what else is it? What else is there? And sometimes it's just as simple as grounding the lesson more, grounding the healing more. It's not necessarily that there's another upset, which is kind of the power of having learned through the teachings of union. And that is the power that we very comfortably can share with the world, that it's that simple and that it's that easy and that it's that comfortable. And it's something that we've learned in the sermon again, and it's something that Andy and Nikki have shared again. It's measurable. Like the change is measurable. If I look at myself now versus the person I thought I was 2 years ago, possibly even 6 months ago, there's been a shift. I can see a shift. I can feel a shift. It's a very new way of engaging with life.
I was reminded of a quote and I just looked it up because I didn't want to like botch it, but it's apparently Einstein said science without religion is lame, meaning can't walk. Religion without science is blind. So this is a very like unionism is like marrying or revealing the truth of the marriage, rather science and religion. It's religion is scientific, true religion, and science is truly spiritual because it's, you know, there's no separation between above and below. But I really liked, you know, the idea of developing faith with measurable results, like seeing that everything is, you know, you can have more faith. And I think as unionism expands and reaches more individuals who can see, you know, oh, there's evidence, and I have all the faith I need. I see this evidence. I'm reminded of I know this might be a little hot topic, but the vaccine. I know
Are you
some
planning
people.
on dropping a hot potato on
It's a
us?
hot potato. It's the vaccine, but I do. It's a, I don't know. It's a good analogy, I think. Like, some people wait a little while or waited a little while to get the vaccine before, like, it's gonna kill people. Okay, those people didn't die. I'll go get it. And then some people waited a really long time. Does it even work? I don't know. And then they saw these repeatable results. The people that got the vaccine didn't, most of them, large percentage of them, did not end up um, seriously ill, hospitalized, or passing away from COVID. And I'm not trying to force my views of the vaccine on people. It's just an easy analogy that people are aware of in the world. And when something has repeatable results, um, like this work, it's like you can trust it. You develop faith in it. You can trust it. Before I dig my hole too deep with the vaccine, talking about it, yeah, I'll just leave that. That's what I wanted to say.
I actually like that you did the analogy though. And I don't believe that it was digging a hole, because I feel like it's a very real-time example. And often in storytelling and in sharing concepts and ideas and learnings is that you connect at a personal level in that way, which because people then pay attention. And when we don't do it for the attention, but we do it to share. And in our sharing, we hope that people choose to onboard it and choose to exploit for themselves.
I consider us kind of some of the earliest unionists. And in a way, Jeff and Shaleia, being the founders of unionism, the creators of unionism, we're trusting and having faith in them and following their path, and pointing people to them, pointing people to this work. And I just feel that that's really rewarding to do in a time when unionism has just been born, essentially, and being able to share the news with people. I think that's really a blessing.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I just wanna check in with everybody. How are you feeling about our discussion so far? Are there any other insights that you have from the sermon that you feel called to share as we near almost a sense of completion in this space?
I wanted to touch on what you said, Granville, before about mainly acceptance and like going like healing every layer and every layer coming up time after time, and after some time seeing yourself in changing, seeing yourself that your perception of healing is changing as well, like when the same upset is coming after a long time and you're like, oh, but I've dealt with that, I healed that, and you feel this assurance inside yourself that it's not the same way that it was before, but there is still something there. And that's the assuring feeling, and that's a beautiful feeling that when it comes like time after time, it's really how do you say it? Like calming, like relieving. Yeah, it's really relieving to experience that, because you're seeing yourself that God is communicating to you that you have to ground fully on earth here, and it's okay and it's safe, and you can accept yourself already because you're only your existence is like the purest proof of you being accepted as a divine being. And yeah, that feels really good to actually like see yourself changing and accepting whatever comes layer after layer, because this that reflection of what like life outside communicates to you is actually the main purpose is to love you and make you go to the next step of healing yourself even more, and just grounding, even more grounding, until like you're fully like
you have a breakthrough.
Mm-hmm.
What I wanted like to add to that is that with the teaching of unionism, like we do the work and we see that we have layers, but at one point we see that we don't have anything to heal in that specific part anymore because it's healed. Even though it might come up, it comes up in another way.
Mm-hmm.
But the manifestation outside, it shows that certain areas are healed and like our lives like transform in front of our eyes from within without like outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I feel like that was quite a perfect closure to the conversation, and just just the sense that we see repeatable, measurable, irrefutable results all the time. And I like that. And yeah, so with that, I just want to check in again with all of you. Do you have a sense of completion as well? Or if there's anything else that you'd like to add before we close?
I feel complete.
Me too.
Yes.
Perfect. So I'm going to say thank you to all of you for this conversation, for this time of sharing with each other. And thank you to Alexandra and Laurentia as well for their beautiful sermon. And to everybody that has joined us, we appreciate that you've been here with us. We'd also like to invite everybody to like and subscribe to our Church of Union YouTube channel, where you will find all our previous conversations from past sermons, past Sunday services that have taken place in our Unionism Spiritual Discussion Group on Facebook. And we look forward to seeing you again soon for another After Church Tea Time. So thank you, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.